Okay, everybody, I'd like to introduce to you my nephew, Sam. Sam is here working on his lessons for his online school, and he's taking a little break. And today his little break involves cleaning out a worm bin. So these worm bins are filled, and you can see the vermicompost that's happening. Let me see, where's that good piece that we saw I showed you? Yeah, here we go. This stuff right here is the vermicompost, and the vermicompost is what's going to add magic to your garden. So we're going to separate the worms from the soil, and then we're going to put the vermicompost on the garden, and it's going to help our garden grow. And Jolene's going to eat beet greens. What do you think, Sam? Are you ready?
Yeah.
A working worm bin. You can see a lot of different animals that are in there. Lots of the invertebrates, the decomposers, breaking down food. You have to be a little careful in Texas because it looks like we might have a little bit of fire ants over there. So I'll be really careful with those.
Jolene's also breaking down food.
Yep, that's right. The dog is enjoying the beet greens that are the worm food. So worm bin is its own little ecosystem, and so it's a closed system, and you just add food to it. But here's some of the worms. They're Texas red wrigglers, but they don't live in Texas. They're just called those, and so they're not really fit for our climate to put in the garden. But they're great to have in your home for home composting. So it's kind of like a treasure hunt of worms today. There's a lot of them, and what we're doing is separating the vermicompost, aka worm poop, from the worms, and then we'll start over with a new worm bin. We'll put all this in the garden, and that will really makes magic happen for your home garden. And it's really great because you're not throwing away food scraps, you're reusing it and putting it back into the land instead of the landfill. So it's all good, zero waste at my house. So this bin has been growing for about 6 weeks, and so the worms have done a really good job of adding their vermicompost to the mix, eating the soil, the newspaper, and all the things that I add to it. I've got my pile of worms here that will become workers again, and then I've got my vermicompost. Now there may be a few worms in there, but we'll just throw them into the garden, and that'll help out a lot. Is going to show us how this is done. He's taking a scoop of vermicompost. He's going to go over to the garden, and he's going to put it around the base of all the plants. Now that's going to add lots of nutrients and vitamins to the plants and the soil, and a few decomposers that came from the box. But it's really going to be magic for your garden for sure. Good job, Sam. Okay, so we added some new organic soil to the mix. Then we're going to put our worms in our bins, and we're going to start over. Now Sam's going to show us how you rip the paper. You need newspaper on top. It keeps it moist, and it keeps the worms can eat it if they want to. So go for it, Sam. Rip it and drop it in the bin. And you want a pretty big, thick layer of this to keep it moist from drying out.
Make sure not to use the shiny newspaper. Use the print newspaper. It's better for it.
So I harvested some extra Swiss chard for the wormies, and Sam's going to show you how to place it.
So you get the newspaper up so you can see the soil, and then you put the Swiss chard in there or whatever you're using, and you put it where the soil is, and then you put the newspaper back on. So that's what you do to put food in for the worms.
So we've given them shelter and food. What else do we need to give animals?
Water.
Ta-da! Show us how it's done.
So you take the water and then you lightly pour it on here. Do not pour it too fast, because then all the water would just go in one place. And make sure the newspaper is pretty, it's kind of damp. It's damp enough to keep moisture. And once you do this all done.
Now, do worms like sunlight or darkness?
They love darkness.
So what do we need to do at the final step?
We need to put the lid back on.
Ta-da. Go for it.
And that's all you need to do.
And then what do you have to do to take care of them from now on?
You just need to make sure they have their food and water.
Ta-da! Good job, Sam. Do you want a worm bin for your own backyard? Check out the Texas Worm Ranch. They have everything that you need to get started.